Okay, picture this. You're at the park. Sun's out, everything's great, and you're watching your toddler. They're totally in the zone, digging in the sand. Then another kid comes over and starts digging right next to them. I mean, they're inches apart, but they might as well be on different planets. And that little voice in your head starts to kick in. Why aren't they playing with each other? Is this normal? Sound familiar? If you've ever had that thought, that little mix of confusion and maybe, a tiny bit of worry, you are so not alone. But what if I told you that what you're seeing isn't a social problem, but actually a massive leap forward? Yeah, really. Let's dive into this. So, what you're witnessing is something called parallel play. And for kids between 2 and 4, it's not just normal, it's fantastic. Seriously, this isn't just some awkward phase they have to get through, it's the actual bridge they're building towards real, lasting friendships. It's how they learn to be comfortable and confident around other people. So what is it exactly? Well, to put it simply, it's playing alongside someone, not with them. They see the other kid, they might even be using the same kind of toys, but there's no shared goal. There's no cooperation. Each child is basically the star of their own little movie. They're just performing on the same stage. There's this brilliant analogy that makes the whole thing just click. Think of it like two adults working on their laptops in the same coffee shop, right? You're in a shared space, you're aware of the people around you, you're even doing a similar activity, but you're totally focused on your own thing. For us, it's a way to feel connected while being productive. For toddlers, it's a huge developmental milestone. So, how can you spot it out in the wild? Well, you'll see your kid playing on their own, but they're also super interested in what other kids are up to. You'll see them kind of glance over, maybe even start copying an action. If one kid starts stacking blocks, another one might start stacking their own blocks. But the key thing is there's very little direct chat or sharing going on. They're just comfortable together in their own little worlds. Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. Because while it might look like not much is happening on the social front, parallel play is actually this amazing, low-pressure social laboratory. It's where your kid is developing some serious social superpowers, all without the stress of having to directly interact. And there are 3 huge superpowers they're developing here. First up, it's social school. Your kid's like a little researcher, studying how other kids act and learning all these unspoken rules, like personal space. Second, they're a language sponge. They are just listening to everything, other kids, other parents, and soaking up new words like crazy. And finally, and this one is so important, they're building a strong sense of self. They're getting to practice being independent and figuring out who they are, all while in a group. Now, to really get why this stage is so vital, it helps to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture. See, parallel play isn't some random thing that happens. It's a very specific, very important stop on a pretty predictable journey of social development. And when you see the whole map, it all makes perfect sense. So way back in the 1930s, a sociologist named Mildred Parton figured this all out. She identified these stages of play. Kids start off playing all by themselves, in solitary play. Then they become onlookers, just watching. And then, bam, right there as the crucial third step is parallel play. It's the bridge between just watching and actually starting to play together. It's the practice round before they move on to associative play and eventually hit the big leagues of full-on cooperative play. It's a totally natural, totally necessary progression. Okay, so knowing all this, what's your role here? Well, the goal is not to rush them to the next stage. It's to make this stage as rich and positive as it can be. So let's talk about a few simple, really effective things you can do to support your little one on this journey. All right, this is the big one. If you only remember one thing, let it be this. We are all programmed to say, you have to share. But for a 2-year-old, the idea of mine is a huge part of them figuring out who they are. Forcing them to hand over a toy they love can feel like a genuine threat to their identity. So during this stage, it's so much better to just have a few similar toys around than to force a power struggle. You're teaching them how to handle big feelings, not just how to handle toys. Here are a few more great tips. Instead of just dumping out a bucket of toys, create an invitation to play. Set up a craft or a building station with enough stuff for 2. It just naturally encourages that side-by-side engagement. Second, try being a sportscaster, not a director. So instead of saying, why don't you 2 build together, just narrate what you see. Wow, I see you're making a tall tower. It makes kids feel seen without adding any pressure. And finally, just celebrate who they are. The more secure they feel in themselves, the more confident they'll be around others. So the next time you're at the park and you see your child playing happily alongside another kid, but not with them, just take a deep breath and smile. You're not seeing a missed connection. Not at all. You are witnessing the quiet, powerful, and absolutely essential work of a social architect. They are laying the foundation upon which all of their future friendships are going to be built.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought, doesn't it? We put so much pressure on teamwork and group stuff, but what if the most important friendships are actually built on a foundation of first learning how to be alone together? What if the strongest bonds really do grow from that beautiful, simple skill of learning how to just be yourself in the quiet company of others? Something to think about.